Here is a Memorex 900 megahertz cordless telephone. This is the model MPH-6950, and it appears like it was purchased in the 1994. I believe this is going to be a Uniden made product, although unlike many of the other rebrands, the entire outer shell of the phone is completely different. Almost has more of like an AT&T kind of shape to it. Here's the informations. Made in the Philippines. Ah, there it says right there, Uniden. So it's definitely a Uniden made product. That's kind of comical how it's just over there in the corner like that. There's the tripod kick for the video. Here is the power cord, which is definitely a Uniden product. It's got some junk on there. There's the informations. It does output the DC, the 9 volts at the 200, the 10, the milli, the amps. And this too is made in the Philippines. Do not replace with a standard AC plug. So I guess that number, that date code, is not 1997, because this says 94. So maybe it's the first and the last digit. That's the year 94. Now there was some conversation about these numbers when you see a date code. I think it might have been that letter H. And he said that you can just assume when you see two numbers together that are a year, that it's the year. And in this case, this is a perfect example of why you never assume. Because even though 97 would replicate 1997, and that would be a reasonable year of manufacture, clearly this is older than 1997 because they wrote 1994. And this is an analog model, so it's definitely an earlier one. Well, not because it's analog, but it's definitely an earlier model. So, no more assuming about date codes for me. And then that says, does that say 97 or is that a scribbly 4? Or a 93? 12/25/93 would make more sense if that's 94. I don't know. It's a mystery, we may never know. I'm going to say that's 12/25/93. And this is where they got 1994 from. I don't know where I got 2000 from. Okay, so anyways, here's what the inside of the manual looks like. You can pause the video at any time to see it. This date code stuff is making me tired. It's a 40 channel. Extended range and clarity, which is a trademark thing that, well, that's not a trademark, but Uniden always said extended range, and auto talk and auto standby were definitely trademark items. Ultra Clear Plus is a Uniden thing. So it came with 2 telephone cords. I don't know if either one of these are original. Probably one of them is. Setup guide. Okay. The page button is comically large. And I do have the wall mount bracket for it, which I believe is only applicable if you're mounting it to the wall. I don't think it reverses for like tilting on a table. Although it would be nice if it did. It definitely is only for mounting it on the wall. Okay, so we have the tone and pulse switch up there. Here's the adapter input and the phone line. There's no other settings on this phone. Now let's get this plugged in. And let's see what we have here. Oh, the battery. This is the battery it came with. It is the BT905. And it looks like one of those Sanya ones. Battery, yeah, there we go. Battery made by Sanya, the Hong Kong. It's very heavy, this battery. I thought it was going to be a nickel metal hydride, but it says nickel cadmium on it. I don't know if it really is or not. It's a slightly different pitch than it usually is. It's very quiet. Geez, I would miss calls all the time if this was the only phone I had ringing. It seems to work just fine. Some of the buttons are getting kind of dirty, and the sides are certainly dirty, but they all seem to work with no problem. Alright, so let's begin by calling it up. The charge light's getting very dim. I tend to think this probably was in use for quite a long time. The battery still worked, it charged right up, so I have suspicions it may have even been in use right up until the day it was sold. That's not uncommon with these older 900 megahertz phones. It's not uncommon at all, because they worked. And a lot of people, the number's going down, but a lot of people believe if you have a working piece of equipment, you don't replace it. I happen to be one of those people. Anyways, let's call this telephone. There it goes, it's ringing correctly. I'll call it again on the speakerphone so we can hear how the ring cycle on the handset reflects the ring cycle on the line. A little bit of a delay, that's typical. Okay, let's see if the auto talk works. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, it did work. That did hang up as well. Okay, so let's go over to the outside line. Oh, that stupid thing does that. And let's make a call.
Good evening. Over 400 branches of People United Bank N.A. Member M. Monday, August 2nd. People's United Bank time. Current temperature.
Sounds like there's two volume settings.
Today, highs around 80, mostly clear tonight, lows in the low 60s Tuesday.
Sounds fine. It's getting a little bit faint. I think it could fair to have the cap replaced. Maybe not. Did the thing just break? Oh, there we go. I guess it's so quiet I wasn't hearing it. I swear the touch tone just stopped, the beep stopped for a second too. Gee, am I losing it or what? Sounds like it's working now. Huh. Okay, that was weird. It'd be the first one that was weird. channel button's kind of sticky. Otherwise everything's working just fine. I think it's missing a couple of tones every now and again. It did, it just didn't hit it for the 9. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely, it has an intermittent issue with the ketone. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I'll call and record some testing messages so we can hear how the outgoing audio is.
2 new messages and 10 old messages. Message 1.
Is it live or is it Memorex? I think it's Memorex.
Message 2.
Okay, this is the second test. I'm going to traverse across the room and see how good the range is. I suspect it's probably fine. I don't hear any static on my end of things. I'm all the way across the room now. There's a surprising amount of side tone on this thing. It's not super great. I'd like it to be a little bit louder, but it's certainly there. Okay, so maybe the pickup on this one's a little more sensitive than usual. I have found that, unfortunately, a lot of these older 900 megahertz Uniden models that were analog, they don't have the greatest pickup. Okay, I'll change the channel a couple times so we can hear what that sounds like. Channel was just changed, so I'll change it one more time. Kind of sticky, so I'll have to get that cleaned. Okay, now I'm going to hang up directly into the bass.
End of messages.
That was kind of odd that there was no squelch sound when hung up into the bass. But for the most part, this seems to work just fine. I think the receiver cap could fare to be replaced at some point. It's still totally usable, but I don't think it's quite as loud as it should be. And I don't know what's going on with the ketones. It seems like it misses some every now and again. Neither issue is detrimental. I think it's totally usable as is with a good cleaning. And it's a very neat piece to have in the collection with the original instruction manual and mounting bracket too.